Ending to the 2022 Shiv Sena political crisis caused by Shinde's revolt against Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena. Now, five-judge bench, that is a constitution bench headed by the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, will deliver its verdict on pleas related to the political crisis that led to the fall of the three-party MLA government led by Uddhav Thackeray following a revolt by Eknath Shinde in 2022. Now, we are expecting that verdict to come in at about 10:30 this morning. That's the time that it's been listed for. This is a five-judge bench of the Supreme Court which will be pronouncing its verdict today. Now, do remember that this, of course, on the 7th, I think on the 18th of January, the court had reserved its judgment. Now, hearing of petitions by the Uddhav Thackeray and Eknath Shinde groups, of course, follows the rift in the Shiv Sena and the subsequent fall of the MBA government. Now, the Supreme Court bench had wondered how it can reinstate the Thackeray government even if it finds the governor's action in calling for a trust vote illegal. And that's when the last hearing was. So we'll get you a sense of what we're expecting today. Just to tell our viewers that we have Alisha. She's reporting from outside the Chief Minister's residence in Mumbai. We've got Madhurima, who's joining us live from outside, I think, the Supreme Court today. Also joining us is Rakshita from our Delhi studios. I think we'll also be joined by our guests very shortly. Deshrata Nigam will be here with us in just a bit. But Alisha, to you first. Obviously, there are a lot of jitters within the political circles in Maharashtra. You are outside the Chief Minister's residence. Any comings and goings over there that you'd like to report?
Well, as of now, there is no one and there is no activity that we have been witnessing right outside the Chief Minister resident. Well, even the Chief Minister is going to respond right after the verdict of the Supreme Court. But when it comes to the case, it is very important to understand because it was 8-day longer hearing that has happened in the Supreme Court. And it was 8 applications that was filed, whether from the Shinde or whether from the Uddhav Thackeray faction, which is being clustered by Chief Justice of India. And today, where the Chief Justice of India, along with the five bench, it's a bench which is constituted by 5 justices, which is going to deliver the verdict. And most importantly, we have to see whether the Supreme Court disqualifies 16 MLA, because that's the first application that was filed by Uddhav Thackeray, clearly mentioning that they cannot form a faction and give it a name of a party and again form a government in the state of Maharashtra. And that is something has also been argued by Kapil Sibal, because he has stated and also questioned the role of a governor who has called for a floor test, stating that a governor can call for a floor test of an alliance but not of a faction, because this judgment can show the consequences. If this has been allowed, if the Eknath Shinde has been allowed and the 16 MLAs has not been disqualified, so this will show the consequences for the country as well, and there will be other state leaders as well who will discontinue they will withdraw the support from a government or whether from the party, and they will form another faction is what has been clearly mentioned. And the judgment of Nabam Rabia has also been cited before the Supreme Court. But what has been said by Mahejit Malani, it has also been stated by Haris Salve, who have been representing Eknath Shinde, stating that whatever has been done is not about the faction. It is about the withdrawing support. And of course, ECA has given a recognition, and all the documents related to the same has been submitted in a written formation to the Supreme Court, which has been asked in the month of March. Because in the last hearing which happened in the March, where Supreme Court has also wondered that whether Supreme Court reinstate a Chief Minister who itself has resigned from the post rather than facing the floor test. So whether Chief Justice of India, whether the Supreme Court can decide upon it is something a question. But yes, there are 8 applications that was filed that has been clustered by the Supreme Court, and today where the Supreme Court is going to decide the role even of the government, then government Bhagat Singh Koshari, who called for a floor test, who asked Eknath Shinde to form a government. And moreover, it is also going to be see whether Supreme Court disqualifies 16 MLAs, including Eknath Shinde.
Of course, that was. We are also going across to my colleague Madhurima, who is joining us from right outside the Supreme Court there. Madhurima, of course, a big day today, a big judgment that we are expecting. And as Alisha was saying that if at all we do see the disqualification now, this will be a big setback, and this will, create some further turmoil in Maharashtra political crisis, because if Eknath Shinde is also disqualified, he will lose the chief ministerial position as well. Take us through all that is expected, the various scenarios that we can expect today.
Well, if we talk about the multiple scenarios that will take place today, is the first one that you just highlighted, that if the disqualification of 16 MLAs is ordered by the Supreme Court of India, then of course Eknath Shinde, the current Chief Minister of Maharashtra, is going to lose his political edge and will have to resign. But if and Uddhav Thackeray will be going for a floor test, like it was suggested by the Supreme Court in